Am I the a-hole for not providing my father money from my inheritance to pay for his child's treatment? A 19-year-old boy, received an inheritance from my paternal grandparents 2 years ago. They placed it in a trust for me, protecting it from anyone who would want to use it for their own benefit, including my father, their son. My grandparents chose to give me access to the money when I reached the age of 19. I was the major beneficiary, and they left the smallest amount necessary to keep my father from fighting their will. I haven't lived with my father for 5 years. When he met his bride, he gave me two options. Either decided to treat them all as family from the start, welcome her two small children at the time, and accept that she would be the mom in the house, which meant she would also be my mother. Alternatively, I may leave his house and stop taking advantage of him. I decided to live with my maternal grandparents. In case you're wondering, my mother died when I was 6 years old. My parents were not together, and she was my primary caregiver, but my father was able to visit her on weekends before she died. After she died, I moved in with him. I believe he blamed me for being born and despised my existence. He definitely acted like it, so I never got to know his adorable little family. I don't know his wife or her children, and I'm not concerned about them. I don't feel obligated to pretend they're my family. That is why I said no. When he contacted me a few months back, he asked for $40,000 from my inheritance to fund therapy for one of his TAP children. He emailed me a bunch of information about the ailment and therapy, which I believe was in Switzerland or Germany. He stated that the child's condition was deteriorating and that they were concerned it would lead to death. Apparently, the child has always had the illness, but it worsens over time, and there aren't many therapeutic choices available. But this was one of them. To be honest, I believed I had blocked him on social media, so the direct message came as a surprise. I told him no, blocked him, and moved on. But then he texted me, and I questioned how he obtained my phone number since I had changed it after moving in with my grandparents. It turns out he had my paternal grandparents' phones and found my number on them. I told him to stop. He wasn't receiving the money. He texted me more information and even shared their fundraiser website, which was seeing little traffic. He stated that if they could get enough funds, they might consider another treatment facility. I blacklisted the number and any other numbers he tried to call me from. I think after enough stillness, he decided to involve others. He sent my uncle after me. My uncle wanted to know why I answered no, and if I had considered using the money to legally oblige my father to repay me with interest. I said no. I told him I didn't want to aid them and wouldn't give them any of my money. My uncle said that I could help a child, possibly even save their life, and that should be more important than who the child belonged to. Then he abandoned the whole step-sibling issue, and I simply ordered him to get lost. But it made me think a little. I don't feel guilty, just thoughtful, because I could give them the $40,000 but choose not to. Heck, I believe one of my father's texts upped the amount he wanted, but I could still afford it. I'm simply saying no. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top remarks. Not the a-hole. You need the money since you know your father will not be there to care for you. Oh, he hasn't cared about me in years. Even while I lived with him, saying he looked after me was a stretch. Not the whole. Would any of them offer $40,000 to a complete stranger? Even if you are related, the child is a complete stranger to you. You are not obligated to pay for someone else's child's medical treatment. Yes, the circumstance is tragic and unfortunate, but it is not your responsibility. If you didn't have any money, who would they expect to pay? Also, is there any legitimate proof among the information they sent? Because it could be a ruse to get money from you, even if it's genuine. Please do not give any money away. Save your money for the future and your children. I didn't check too closely, but it appeared legitimate. I didn't really want to read everything. My first thought was, why is he sending this to me? Then I understood he wanted money, and all I could think of was getting away from the a-hole. They can discuss resources with their care team or the embassy if they are considering an out-of-country program, given your statement about there being only one therapy choice. That is a little concerning. Not all treatments are effective for every patient. Chronic medical diseases with few therapies frequently become money traps. There is no miracle medicine to cure the problem. Relapses, side effects, and failure rates occur with practically every treatment. It's $40,000 this time, and if it doesn't work or isn't enough, guess who they'll contact again for another try? There's that, and he has already increased it. What's to say they'd travel there and then reach out for more? And I'm the only one who can send it quickly. Or, if it works and the child requires it in the long run, it would all fall on me. And I'm not a multimillionaire or billionaire here. Not the whole. Your father left you for his new family, and now he only cares about money. You owe him nothing, especially not your inheritance, which was safeguarded for a purpose. Kindness is an option, not a duty. He torched the bridge. Not you. Next story. Am I a jerk for refusing to allow my parents to utilize my college savings for my brother's wedding? I just turned 18 and was recently accepted to my dream university. When I was born, my grandparents established a college fund for me, which currently covers the majority of my tuition. My parents have always known about this fund, and I have planned my education around it. A few weeks ago, my older brother, a 25-year-old man, revealed that he was getting married. My parents are paying for most of the wedding, but they recently informed me that they will need to borrow from my college fund to meet additional fees. I was astonished and told them no, because the money was intended for my schooling. They suggested that I could just take out college loans, and that family came first. My brother and his fiancée also labeled me selfish, stating I should help because they want a huge wedding. I declined again. My parents are now expressing their disappointment in me, and my brother is not speaking to me. Am I in a hole for refusing to give up my education fund? They can also take out loans to pay for the wedding, and the interest rate will most likely be lower than your student debts. If they own a home, they can withdraw money from its equity, open a credit card, withdraw money from their retirement accounts, and so on. There is no reason why it should come from your education fund rather than the entire amount. I'm just not sure why my future is the first thing they're ready to sacrifice. There are so many other options for dealing with this, but they've chosen to take away the one thing that was supposed to make my life better. It truly aches. Lock down your credit. Your parents have all they need to obtain a loan in your name, and explain it by claiming that you would pay it back with your schooling finances. It would not be the first time a family determined that family comes first, then shirked one of their own children in favor of another. Also, transfer the college fund to a new account that only he has access to. Otherwise, the parents may withdraw only a portion of the fund without his authorization. And I'd make certain they couldn't access it without your knowledge. Yeah, that is my main concern right now. I need to ensure that they cannot touch it without my permission. So you have complete confirmation of who the golden child is. You should consult with a lawyer to guarantee that they do not take advantage of your situation, because they will if they can safeguard you and your college fund, not the whole. Yeah, it's very obvious who the favorite is at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried something behind my back. Therefore, I'll look into legal possibilities. Thank you for your advice. As is usually the case, prepare for the consequences of not surrendering to their requests to support the golden child. They claim to be doing this for family, but are they sincere when they want to put you in debt for years just to support him? Instead of screwing you over, he might take out a loan or cut the wedding budget. You're likely to be on your own after this, so get help before they distort the narrative to scam you. That's what worries me the most. I know that standing my ground will likely result in them turning on me, and I'm not sure how terrible things will become. I do not want to lose my family because of this, but I also cannot allow them to take away my future. I'm trying to figure out what to do next before things get worse. Thank you for your advice. I greatly appreciate it. Next story. Is it wrong of me to refuse to let my brother attend my wedding after what he did? I'm 29, a man. I'm getting married in 2 months to my 27-year-old female fiancé, and we've been planning this day for over a year. My connection with my younger brother, a 26-year-old man, has always been tense. He is the golden child in our family, and our parents have always ignored his terrible behavior. Last year, at my engagement party, he became drunk and announced in front of everyone that he did not approve of my marriage because my fiancé is too controlling and calls him out when he behaves entitled. He then proceeded to propose to his fiancée on the spot, completely stealing the moment. My fiancé was on the edge of crying. I was outraged and told him he was out of line, but my parents asked me to let it go because he was only drunk and thrilled. I reluctantly moved on to keep the peace. Fast forward to last week. He called me drunk again and said, "Hey, I've got an idea. What if I give a humorous speech at your wedding? Like, roast you a little?" I told him no and that I did not trust him to behave. He got upset and stated I was taking things too seriously. So I finally told him he wasn't invited. I can't risk him destroying my wedding, like he ruined our engagement party. My parents freaked out, screaming I was being unkind and that family forgives. Now family is contacting me, telling me I should just give him another chance. Am I in a hole for standing my ground? Now for the best comments. Not the a-hole. Your brother does not need another opportunity. He needed a wake-up call, and you just gave him one. Weddings are not open mic nights for entitled siblings who mistake other people's accomplishments for their own. Exactly. I've given him numerous opportunities, but at some point, enough is enough. This is not about forgiveness. It's about establishing boundaries. I just wish my parents saw it that way rather than making me feel like the evil guy. Except, they don't see things as they are, and your brother has a drinking problem. Your wedding is his next goal. You already know he'll show up, regardless of what you stated. Make sure the DJ or mic does not give him any microphone time. Tell the bartenders to cease serving him at some time. Ask a couple of your male pals to keep an eye on him so he doesn't disturb things like that. It's unfortunate that you have to think along such lines, but you and your wife deserve a wonderful day. The golden child will not desire to do right by you. Yes, I realize it's terrible, but plan for it anyhow. You're correct. I have to understand that he will push boundaries regardless of what I say. If he turns up, I'll be prepared. I'll make sure he doesn't receive the MC, doesn't drink too much, and doesn't have the opportunity to ruin our day. It irritates me that I even have to consider this, but I refuse to let him make our wedding all about him. Oh, because nothing says family forgiveness like hijacking someone's engagement party, publicly calling their love unacceptable, and then surprising them. Proposals resemble a Walmart brand reality TV villain. Seriously, how many chances does your brother need? First, he gets drunk and turns your engagement party into his personal talent show. And now he wants a live microphone at your wedding to roast you? Yes, sure. Because nothing adds to the romantic atmosphere of a wedding like a drunken best man. Reject giving his best Comedy Central impression. If your parents are so determined to forgive him, they can wreck his own wedding. Maybe create a separate inebriated, entitled section at family reunions just for him. What about your wedding? Nope, it's your day, not another tryout for America's Got Bad Decisions. So, no, you aren't the a-hole. You are the bouncer at your own wedding, which is a VIP event. The guest list is now officially devoid of human liabilities. It sounds like Opie will save money on a few dinners. The parents will threaten not to go for the sake of their infant boy. I would not be shocked if that is exactly what happened. At this point, I'm just waiting for the guilt trips and dramatic ultimatums. If they choose not to attend my wedding because of this, that is their decision, not mine. Next story. Am I on hold for declining to attend my sister's wedding after she attempted to charge me for being a bridesmaid? I've always been close to my sister Lily, but our connection has been strained recently. Lily invited me to be a bridesmaid in her wedding a few months ago, which I was thrilled about. I'd always supported her, and I expected this to be a special occasion, but then she gave me the list of bridesmaid requirements. The outfit cost over $300, and she stated we had to pay for our own hair, cosmetics, and accessories. I wasn't delighted with the price, but I assumed it was part of the package, and I'd figure out a way to make it work. However, a few weeks ago, she contacted me and asked me to pay a $150 bridesmaid fee to cover her bachelorette party decor and to assist out. I was shocked. I questioned whether it was true, and she responded that everyone else was chipping in. I told her I couldn't afford it, and that it felt wrong to charge me to attend her wedding. She became enraged, claiming I was being selfish and ruining her special day. After thinking about it, I decided I couldn't do it. I informed her that if this were the case, I would not be attending the wedding. She went silent, and now the rest of the family is angry with me, calling me petty and telling me to suck it up. Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend and being charged as a bridesmaid? Now for the top remarks. Charging for bridesmaid duties. What happens next? An invoice for attending a wedding. Do not laugh. I learned about it from a buddy who was invited and paid for entrance. What the heck? I've been to several weddings that took place at museums that charge admission. Except that admittance to the wedding was free. I can't envision a single universe where that would be acceptable. Not the whole. I've reached a place in my life where if something costs money, it doesn't always happen. I'll attend a wedding, but I can't casually drop $1,000 on someone else's special day. Yes, I agree. I need to save some money so that I can make my own items. By the way, there is no bridesmaid cost. She is making this up, and her reason for everyone chipping in is that no one else questions this ridiculous made up price. Just don't leave. Allow the family to say what they want. She understands she is wrong, but she is attempting to get others to pay for things that are her responsibility. Last story. Am I a hole for snatching the keys to our house from my husband's ex wife? I returned home from a work meeting a few days ago and was unpleasantly startled to discover my husband's ex wife roaming about the house, fresh out of the shower and wearing only a towel around her body. I felt completely hysterical, but I didn't show it. She had the keys since her daughter, who is also my husband's daughter, spends more time at our house than hers, so she occasionally pays her a visit. This time, I did not hold back. I insisted on receiving the keys and informed her that she was not permitted to visit while I was away. My husband was asleep in the bedroom, unaware that his ex-wife was present. When I asked my stepdaughter why her mother had stayed, she simply stated that she didn't intend to leave until her father woke up. My intellect quickly recognized it as an attempt at seduction. In brief, I took away the house keys and informed her that she did not need to come see her daughter on weekdays. My stepdaughter already went to her place on weekends, so if she needed to come over for something significant, she had to ask permission. She called me insane, but my husband supported me, which was the only reason she went without causing a scene. Today, I began to wonder if I had overreacted and handled things maturely, but I also don't want her near my 4-month-old kid when I'm not home. Why did she have the keys in the first place? How old is the daughter? A bigger question. Why was the hubby sleeping while she was showering? Sounds suspicious. I can't help but assume you came after their activities. She always kept an emergency for traveling. My stepdaughter is 17 years old and cares about my hubby. He slept all day after spending the night awake at work. Although I initially thought like you, I quickly checked the cameras I had in various places in the house to monitor my baby, including the bedrooms. You are definitely not the a-hole. I believe she was attempting to seduce your husband. She should never have been given a key, and her reaction of rage reveals all about her goals. Thank you for convincing me that I'm not absolutely crazy.